Trump says that he is going to deploy the National Guard to 19 states. 19 states, y'all.
Says the next target for his crackdown on crime and illegal immigration is the city of Chicago. Speaking from the Oval Office, Trump praised the National Guard's efforts in D.C., saying that crime is way down due to the success. He explained that Chicago comes next, then New York City. Take a listen.
So, I really am honored that the National Guard has done such an incredible job working with the police. And we haven't had to bring in the regular military, which we're willing to do if we have to. And after we do this, we'll go to another location and we'll make it safe also. We're going to make our country very safe. We're going to make our cities very, very safe. Chicago's a mess. You have an incompetent mayor, grossly incompetent. And we'll straighten that one out probably next. That'll be our next one after this. And it won't even be tough. And the people in Chicago, Mr. Vice President, are screaming for us to come. They're wearing red hats, just like this one, but they're wearing red hats. African-American ladies. Beautiful.
You know who he's talking about, right? Shout out to Chicago Flips Red and Danny and all of them. Shout out to them. That means, you know what that means to me? That means that Trump is paying attention to what's happening in the streets. Never have you seen a president like this in your lifetime. Never have you seen a president like this in your lifetime. A president that is actually paying attention to the people, paying attention to what's happening on the streets, and is listening and is making the adjustments. Yo, that is dope. That is dope that Trump is paying attention to what's happening on the streets. You know who he talking about. He said, listen, they in Chicago, they got on red hats. They making they calling for us to come in, and we paying attention. And so what we gonna probably do is we gonna make y'all the next place that we gotta fix the streets in. You know what's so funny about that though? You know what's so funny about that? I'm gonna tell you why that's interesting on two fronts. The first reason that is funny is because the Chicago mayor won't even acknowledge the constituents or the people in his own city. When they reached out to him and they tried to work with him and they said, hey, listen, we would like to be able to, get some understanding on where our tax dollars is going. We want to make sure that y'all not spending all of the money, our taxpayer money, on illegal migrants. We want to do this and we want to do that. You know what he did? He scoffed. He made it seem like they was irrelevant, that they wasn't nothing. And now you got the president of the United States of America saying, listen, we got to go in and we got to fix what's happening in Chicago next because they wearing red hats. They calling for us to come in there. They saying that their streets is not safe. They gave all of the money over to the illegal migrants. It's a mess over there. They removed ShotSpotter. I hear y'all, and we hear you. Even though we dealing with international problems, we're also going to deal with this problem in your own neighborhood because too often do we deploy our resources over to people and over to situations that does not make sense for the United States of America. We take care of everybody else, but we don't take care of our own. And who would be against that? Their own, because y'all always talking about visibility. Y'all always talking about, I want representation that look like me and all of this other stuff. But it take a what? A white man in the White House above your boss. A white man in the White House above your boss to come in and do the work that the mayor should have been doing in their own cities. Shout out to the people over there in Chicago. And I want to say that I was one of the first people that leveraged my platform to give them this level of visibility. But I'm not going to take credit for the work that they've been doing on their own. I definitely made sure that they got the visibility, and I interviewed her, and she was telling us what was going on. It's a fact.
Beautiful ladies are saying, please, President Trump, come to Chicago. Please. I did great with the black vote, as you know, and they want something to happen. So I think Chicago will be our next, and then we'll help with New York.
And this right here is some of the video of the National Guard's involvement in Washington, D.C., the Pentagon confirming those troops will now be armed with guns as they patrol the streets of the nation's capital. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth calling it, quote, common sense. And we do have this post right here that I want to pop up as he said that on social media hours ago, along with an article that said Secretary of Defense Hegseth authorizes National Guard troops to carry arms in D.C. Now, nearly 2,000 National Guard members are currently stationed in D.C. as President Trump continues that crackdown on crime. Trump warning that, quote, bad things will happen if D.C. officials do not, quote, immediately stop giving false and highly inaccurate crime figures. There will be a, quote, complete and total federal takeover of the city. Want to pop this up on your screen right here as we do have more developments. The Pentagon confirming to Fox News that up to 1,700 National Guard troops will mobilize in 19 states in the coming weeks to help with the president's crime and immigration plans. Here is a look at those 19 states on your screen. And as you can see, they are scattered all over the map. All of this expected to run through mid-November, with Texas projected to have the most significant National Guard presence.
So that's the thing that people don't understand. I hear a lot of people a lot of times say stuff like, well, why isn't he deploying it to this state? Why isn't he deploying it to the red state? He deploying it to all states. Crime needs to be made sure that they're shut down everywhere. It's not just Chicago. It's not just D.C. It's not just any of those places. It's all over. They said in the National Guard, Alabama, Arkansas, Florida, Georgia, most of these is red states. Almost all of them is red states. Idaho, Indiana, Iowa, Louisiana, Nebraska, Nevada, New Mexico, Ohio, South Carolina, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, Virginia, and Wyoming. I think that everywhere can get it. He also said that he was going to New York too. So, and this is not all of them. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, this isn't all of them.
As you can tell, there is so much to discuss here, so I do want to bring in an expert to help break it down. We do have Jeff Weninger, a retired police lieutenant and the founder and CEO of Law Enforcement Consultants. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us today and help to break it all down.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. And first off, I do want to ask you overall, how unusual is it to see this level of military and law enforcement presence in a city like D.C. and what we could see happening in Chicago and New York City as well?
Well, it's not unprecedented. We've seen it in the past, but it's generally because of a specific event or civil unrest or some type of a natural disaster. I saw it back in Los Angeles in 1992 when we had the Rodney King riots. We saw it with Katrina in 2005. And, we saw it most recently in Los Angeles here this spring when we had the civil unrest. So it's not unprecedented. I guess really the question is, seeing the deployment of military personnel for the purpose of policing everyday crime trends, that's unprecedented.
Do you think we are going to see, as we see the National Guard deployed to places like Chicago and New York City, do you think we're going to see kind of a similar situation to what we've seen there in D.C.? Will it look pretty much the same?
Well, I think to the extent where when you flood an area with resources to address the crime, automatically the deterrent factor is going to reduce the crime. The key is, what is the long-term strategy to maintain a lower crime trends? That's the significant challenge for everything. And it's not a quick fix. When you're talking about crime, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. So from a strategic standpoint, and developing objectives and strategies moving forward are going to be the key in being able to maintain lower crime trends.
So let me pivot over because I want to give y'all the response also to Chicago from their leaders, basically saying, what their response is to Trump saying that he's going to send in the National Guard and he's going to do the same thing to Chicago that he does to that he did to D.C. This is what the leaders said in responding to the Trump
announcing he could soon send National Guard troops to Chicago to crack down on crime.
That threat coming despite the fact violent crime in the city has been declining for the last few years. WGN's Courtney Spinelli is joining us live near City Hall with the details here. Also reaction from local lawmakers. Courtney.
Micah and Ray, good evening. While the president is making that claim that this is all part of his plan to crack down on crime across the country, some local lawmakers are calling this a political stunt. The president shifting topics during a press conference this morning in the Oval Office. It came as he was praising the guardsmen already deployed in the nation's capital. Trump says while he is willing to bring in the, quote, regular military, it isn't something they have had to do. He signaled again he's narrowing his sights on Chicago. The president made a similar comment several weeks ago as he slammed Mayor Brandon Johnson and Governor J.B. Pritzker. He claims crime in the city is out of control. However, police statistics show violent crime, including homicides and shootings, are trending downward.
Chicago's a mess. You have an incompetent mayor, grossly incompetent. And we'll straighten that one out probably next. That'll be our next one after this. And it won't even be tough. And the people in Chicago, Mr. Vice President, are screaming for us to come.
Trump's order to send hundreds of troops to Los Angeles is currently at the center of a legal challenge and likely would be the same if he tried to do this in Chicago. We spoke with Johnson, who believes a National Guard deployment to the city has the potential to inflame tensions between residents and law enforcement. He says the federal government could help address areas of investment they're already working on, like housing, community safety, and education, but says sending in the National Guard won't do that.
Here's the bottom line. As mayor of this city and mayors across this country, we know exactly what it takes to drive down violence and crime in our cities. Because we're actually doing it. The city of Chicago has experienced unprecedented levels of violence reduction. It's really a shame, quite frankly, and offensive that this president who speaks in the name of law and order would do the opposite.
Johnson says he takes this threat seriously, but also noted the city has not received any formal communication from the Trump administration regarding additional law enforcement or military deployments to Chicago. He calls the president's approach uncoordinated, uncalled for, and unsound. We've also been hearing from a lot of lawmakers and local aldermen as well now weighing in on this. Alderman Brian Hopkins tells us he believes that this would be better suited if they were to give federal funding to the city of Chicago to hire the 2,000 officers.
No. We not giving y'all no more money. Ain't nobody giving nobody. No. That's it. Ain't no additional dollars coming from our, because y'all know what that means. Let me tell you what that means. That basically means that they want us. We already give them a ton of money as far as federal dollars because we all got to pay federal taxes, right? And so now they want the Trump administration to give them additional monies because they mismanage their funds. And so what they going to basically do is, let me tell you what the finesse is. I hate y'all politicians, you blue politicians in your blue cities, you out here blowing the bag. What they basically going to do is they're going to use that to plug the budget gap that they have, the $1.6 billion projected budget gap that they have, right? Instead of hiring the 2,000 police officers, they're going to redirect the funds in order to fill holes that they can't manage effectively. You know what? Instead of making crime safe in Chicago, just send us some money so we can fill the ranks and make sure that we hire all the police officers we need. No, nigga, hire the police officers that you need and fix your city and make sure that the people are safe. Just send us some more federal dollars. Y'all ain't been able to manage what y'all got. What is wrong with y'all? Get out of here, bro. Send us some more federal dollars and we're going to make sure that we know how to manage the money effectively. No, that's not what's going to happen. Yo, Chicago could quite possibly be one of the most corrupt cities in the United States of America, bro. Chicago could quite possibly be. between them stealing y'all properties with property taxes, stealing y'all properties with y'all mothers and stuff, and when they pass away, they hold y'all up in court in order to try to prevent y'all from being able to get the money. Bro, Chicago could be one of, not the only, one of the they raise, y'all pay crazy property taxes. Y'all pay property taxes on shit, but y'all don't have no representation. Y'all got 50 aldermen, and they all make mid six figures. That don't piss y'all off? Shout out to Valerie Martin. That don't piss y'all off? Y'all not pissed off at the fact that they can't solve for squatter laws, that they got the Safety Act still in place, that y'all facing a $1.6 billion budget deficit year over year, that they charge y'all a crazy amount of money in property taxes, that y'all don't even own y'all own streets? Y'all not bothered by that? Y'all not bothered by, y'all remember this, y'all still don't even know where your tax dollars went over the last 4 years that they used for the migrant crisis. Y'all don't even know where that is. Where did the money go for the migrant crisis? Who owns the companies that they use for staffing, for security, for nursing services, to feed? Who owns the buildings that they leased out for the migrant crisis? Y'all don't have no clue where your money went. Nothing. You don't know nothing. The church leaders got rich. The property owners got rich. The donors got rich. The staffing companies got rich. The migrants got everything. And y'all didn't even have no police officers. They said that we don't know where we can find the money to be able to get adequate staffing so that police officers do y'all know that y'all got police officers in Chicago that make $250,000 a year on overtime because y'all don't have proper staffing? And y'all keep voting this stuff in, and y'all keep rocking with it, and y'all voted in a 6th grade teacher, a geography teacher? That's crazy. And then they get mad at me for bringing visibility to it. Man, don't talk about Chicago. Nigga, I would want everybody and their mama to talk about it, because I would want to solve for the problem and bringing visibility to the corruption that's happening in the cities. I talked about my own city for years until they got that together. I showed every single abandoned building. I explored it. I talked about all of the problems. I showed y'all what was happening in the streets. I showed you what was happening in the neighborhoods that I grew up in. We brought visibility into they fixed this motherfucker. And now it's your turn, nigga. It's your turn. Now we bringing visibility because we want America to be, you know what? Now, you know what? Let me tell you why. Because I'm tired of y'all asking for federal tax dollars that we got to put in the pot to save y'all, and y'all just going to trick it off on some more people in the churches in the archdiocese in order for y'all to be. He got the nerve to be talking shit and still asking for money. They found billions, hundreds of millions, billions of dollars for illegal migrants, and they can't even hire adequate police. They canceled ShotSpotter, removed adequate police, and then they reclassified how it is that they consider crime violent crime, and then they stopped answering phone calls, and they said, well, there's been a reduction now. Boy, you can't even stop large gatherings of teenagers that tear up stuff inside of Chicago. They know that in time, but it's your deliverance for the sensitive people. Y'all sensitive still? Y'all sensitive? Nigga, I don't even talk as disrespectful as your baby mama talked to you when she told you to get the fuck out the house. You sensitive now? I don't talk as disrespectful as your father was to your mama when he said that he didn't want to rock out with you no more. I don't talk as disrespectful as your mama was when she said that you look like your father and that's why she don't fuck with you. I don't talk as disrespectful as your mayor do when he ignore your phone calls and he don't even show up. You can't even get your mayor on the phone. Y'all sensitive in Chicago? You know what I've always been taught? Money over sensitivity. Whenever my money is fucked up, I don't have time to be sensitive. I don't have no feelings because my crime and my community is up. They taking all of my money and my property. Y'all paying crazy property taxes and y'all up here talking shit. Listen, Joanna Prevost says Anton has thick skin. I cuss people back out, but if you notice, since the beginning of the stream, I haven't banned anybody. As much as y'all may not necessarily agree with me, or some people that may, with no profile picture and say, Anton, fuck you, I'll roast you all day. You know what we didn't do? Even with that? Come on, man, let's talk about it. You know what we didn't do? We didn't ban nobody. Jonathan, as disrespectful as you've been, are you still not able to talk in the chat? Do you still have the ability to have say and do whatever it is that you want to do? As disrespectful as some of the people in this chat has been, have y'all been banned? Have y'all been disposed of? No, this is for real. This is real talk. Let's have a conversation. Regardless of how I may not like you or whatever, and I tell y'all don't be overly disrespectful, but if you are, then direct it towards me. Just don't talk about nobody's kids or whatever, and don't spam the chat. As long as y'all keep within the rules, regardless of what you say and how disrespectful you've been, I have not banned you and I have not said that, hey, get the fuck out of here. You know why? You know why? Because I'm not sensitive like your fucking favorite politicians that don't want to hear what y'all want to say inside of y'all cities. I'll remove all of the censors. People can cuss. They can say whatever it is they want to say. And I chill. And I jaw back and forth because I think that it's hilarious and it's fun when we jaw back and forth or whatever. And you're right. I don't want an echo chamber. I want people to authentically feel whatever it is that they feel. But your punk ass politicians can't even take it. And y'all worried about whether or not I'm getting on your dusty ass city? Come on, man. Hold your leaders accountable. Y'all pay them. You pay them. Y'all pay them with your tax dollars. Let me see how much Brandon Johnson made. Brandon Johnson's salary. And remember, y'all, I want y'all to remember this because his wife also took taxpayer dollars in order to redo their offices and all of this stuff. They also get security. They also get meals and transportation. They don't have to pay car notes. They can stay in the Chicago mansion residence. This nigga get a free $216,000 a year while he's telling y'all that y'all got to take a pay cut. And he get a pension. Oh, he making, by the time Brandon Johnson get out of office, he gonna make $1 million. He gonna get $1 million and a pension and security to destroy your city. He's getting paid by you to destroy your city. His mayoral salary, this is why they run, is significantly higher than what he previously earned as the Cook County Commissioner. And separate news mentioned a $100 million contract extension signed by the mayor with a staffing company for migrant shelters, which is not personally related to the salary. Y'all not upset at that though, right? Y'all not upset at that though, right? You ain't upset at that? They all came up on y'all. They all coming up on y'all. They all getting money. They all getting money. They all getting money. Yeah. Shout out to the Chicago politicians that is running y'all city into the ground and getting paid to do it.